Hi, this is David McCann for WebTNG. In this video, I'm looking at the plugin Admin and Site Enhancements, or ASE for short. This is a plugin by Bowo, who's known as being a talented developer who creates very useful utility programs that are well coded. And ASE is one of those plugins. Now there's a free version of ASE and a pro version has just been released. In this video, I want to look at the new features of the pro version. So here we are in the WordPress plugin directory. This is the free version. The plugin was released almost exactly a year ago, and it has more than 10,000 active installs. And it has 111 five-star reviews. The plugin has a lot of features. You see this screenshot with all the toggles. It has a lot of functionality, and people who have tried it out are pretty much going gaga over it. So pro version is something to take note of. We're going to look at features in a few minutes. This is the website for the pro version of the plugin. If we go and look at features, we see that there are 39 free modules, and then in Pro, 8 of those have extra features, and then Pro also adds 6 more modules. If we go and look at the pricing, we see that it's available in lifetime and annual. There's a banner that pops up on some of the pages, but basically the lifetime prices now are an introductory price through this year, and then the prices will increase. So there are packages for 3 or 10 sites, there are packages for 25 or 100 sites, and there are packages for 1,000 or unlimited sites. The same's true with the annual. And one thing I wanted to point out is that ASE uses Freemius. Freemius is not used in the free version, but it is used in the pro version for license management and updates, things like that. When you look at the long list of features, one of the first things that came to my mind was, is there a performance hit having all of these features available? Okay. You see how many features there are, all these modules. Okay, quite a few. And so what I did is I went to WP Hive and typed in the name of the plugin on the WordPress plugin directory. And WP Hive has 2 things that I think are pretty interesting. And so let's go and see what it shows us. Okay, so it found it. These tests, I think, are interesting. You'd be surprised how many plugins have one of these tests that don't show up green. It's kind of doing a comparison test on memory usage, page speed, if there are any PHP notices, JavaScript issues, if it's compatible with PHP 8.1, and if it says it's compatible with the latest WordPress, database footprint, activation errors, resource errors, and frequently updated. This is kind of useful information, and I didn't see a red flag here, so that's good. There's one more thing that I usually go and look at, and I go down to performance here. And it says the average memory usage, and it's less than 99% of plugins in the WordPress plugin directory. Okay, so that's a good sign. And then in terms of the average page loading speed, how much having the plugin activated increases the page loading speed, that also, it says, is faster than 99% of the plugins. So another good sign there. And, every plugin you activate uses some memory and may have some effect on page speed. So this is the other set of metrics that I like to check. So let's go and look at the plugin on a WordPress install. I have a testing site here for ASE. And if we go look at plugins, you can see that I have the Pro version installed. And a nice thing to note is that you don't need a free version also. That cuts down on the number of plugins. That's nice. I appreciate that. The menus for ASE are under Tools. So if we go to Enhancements, then we get the UI for the plugin. Along the left here, these are tabs, kind of our category of features. And then on the right side, these are the individual modules. Some of these modules are Pro only, some are free, and some are free modules that have a Pro enhancement. Let's look at some of these. This very first one, Custom Content Types, this is a Pro only module, and let's enable that. And then let's enable also the creation of custom field groups and save. Okay, then what you get is under Settings, you get 3 menu items: Custom Post Types, Custom Taxonomies, and Custom Field Groups. These two are just like any other WordPress custom post type, custom taxonomy creation plugin. Custom Field Groups, there's not a field API currently for WordPress, so each custom field provider implements the fields a little differently. Some simple ones like text fields or maybe number fields are pretty generic, but when you get to things like images or dates or things like repeater fields or maybe relationships, then each of the vendors has implemented those slightly differently. And the upshot of that for ASE is that if you use their field groups, then it's possible that it might be a little bit harder for you to display the custom fields on the front end, because tools like MetaBox or Advanced Custom Fields have wide support with third-party builders and block plugins and things like that. However, custom post types and custom fields, if we go to the ASE website, they're just starting to add the documentation, and those are the two first things that they've added here. And you can see that these are the different field types they support, so a decent number here. And then they have examples for retrieving the field value, like if you're using PHP, or displaying them like with a shortcode or a function. So that's the good news on the custom field types, is that there is documentation for that. In this category of content management, content duplication is a free module, and that gives you the ability to duplicate like your post or page or custom post type records. And so that can be a convenience, another item that typically people use a plugin for. The Pro enhancement on this is that it also lets you duplicate WooCommerce products. So if you're using WooCommerce, that's a nice enhancement. Content Order is another free module that has a Pro enhancement. The Pro option toggles to show taxonomy terms and or an excerpt on the ordering page. So you get a little more information on the ordering page. Media categories, this is a Pro-only module. There are also plugins that give you this. The plugin versions may have more features, but what this does is it adds categories to your media library items so that you can group them together. Makes it much easier to find items later on if you need to go back and look. Media replacement, that is a free module, but it has a Pro enhancement. We've all done it. You upload an image and then you go, oops, I need to fix that. And if you upload another image, the old image still shows because it's cached. What this does is it fixes that issue so you can, just upload the fixed or replacement image. And the Pro enhancement is that in addition to uploading a replacement, you can use drag and drop, and you can drag an image into the media library grid view also. SVG Upload, that is a free module, really nice. I have several sites where I have a plugin for this, or I'm using a code snippet. AVIF is a new file format. It's gaining popularity, and this is a Pro module, lets you upload images in AVIF. Then external permalinks can give an external a link to another site as a permalink. You have an option to open all external links in a new tab. Maybe that's something to think about, because For accessibility, they generally say you should open in the same tab. But many people use open in a new tab because they don't want people to navigate away from their content. Then this is an option to have menu items open in a new tab. And this is to go ahead and publish posts which miss their schedule. That can happen sometimes. WordPress has a post scheduling feature, and occasionally something goes wrong and the post doesn't get published. Those are the content management features. If we go to admin interface, this first one, clean up admin bar. The free version will let you remove WordPress core items. The Pro enhancement lets you remove links from other plugins. Hide admin notices, that's a free item. Disable dashboard widgets is a free item. Hide admin bar, wider admin menus, those are free items also. But this admin menu organizer is a free module that has a Pro enhancement. This allows you to reorder the admin menu items, and the Pro enhancement lets you hide menu items for some or all user roles and reorder submenu items. Then the admin columns manager is a Pro-only feature. This allows you to manage and organize columns in the admin for pages, posts, and custom post types. Okay, again, another feature that people often use a dedicated plugin for. And this is enhance the lists of posts and taxonomies and media and whatnot, which is a free feature. Then in login, logout, this is a free module, change login URL. You know, a lot of security plugins give you this ability. Some people think it's a good idea because it cuts down on churn. Other people point out that while it cuts down on people maybe trying to brute force your admin URL, your site isn't necessarily safer. It's just a little bit more hidden. But the Pro addition to this is that your new admin URL will work with WooCommerce checkout also. These are all then free modules. You can have a login, logout menu item added to menus, which is nice. You can have a column in the user record that shows the last time they logged in. You can set up redirects for after login for different user roles, which is useful if you have like a membership site or a learning management site. These kinds of things are useful. This is one for after logout. Then under custom code, these items here, you can add CSS for the admin, the front end, and the head, body, or footer. You can add a custom body class. You can manage your ads text and app ads text and manage your robots.txt, which is a nice feature. These are all free modules. The Code Snippets Manager, on the other hand, is a Pro-only module. Again, this is something that many people use a plugin for. And if we turn that on and let's save changes, we get a Code Snippets item over here. Let's just click that. And see, so we can add a CSS, a JS, HTML, or PHP snippets. So let's add a PHP one. Add plugin menu item to top bar. Okay, see here, usually you just have visit site, or on the other side you have like the ability to go to themes. But let's add then a code snippet, and this will add a link for going to the plugin page. Okay, so let's go look. There's our link. We went to the plugin page. Cool. Then you go here, you can turn off, deactivate the snippet temporarily without having to delete it. It tells you what type it is, tells you when it's going to be loaded, and you can edit it, trash it, or deactivate. It's the same as that. Okay, so that's the Code Snippets Manager. Let's go back to Enhancements. All right, if we go to Disable Components, these are all free features. Disable Gutenberg, another thing people usually use a plugin for. Disable block-based widgets, setting screen, disable comments. I've actually looked at the code for disabling comments plugins, and there's quite a bit of code involved because There are many different places and ways that comments can be enabled and disabled. It's another one that people often use a plugin for. Disable REST API feeds and disable smaller components and updates. Those are other ones that people often, I think, use, like a code snippet, or maybe your security or optimization plugin has those features. These small components, things like the generator meta tag, the WordPress version, the Windows Live Writer, these are little optimization tweaks like emojis or disable jQuery migrate. Many of these things should probably be removed from WordPress and put into a plugin for those people that need it, because most people don't use these things. That's the disable components category. If we look at security, there is the ability to limit login attempts. This is usually a security plugin feature. If you have hosting that has really good security, you might not need a dedicated security plugin, and something like this would be sufficient. There's the option to obfuscate author slugs to make it harder to find usernames, to obfuscate email addresses, so bots can't harvest email addresses for spam, and disable XML RPC. So these are things that you might have as hardening in a security plugin or something. These are free options. However, the email address obfuscator has a pro enhancement, and that is that you can get a short code for outputting the email as a mail to link, so that when people click on the link, it'll trigger their email program. Okay, under optimizations, these are also free features. There's image upload control, so you can resize new images to get smaller dimensions and convert non-transparent PNGs to JPEGs. You can limit revision control, which is a nice one, and heartbeat control if you're on low-end hosting or some reason the WordPress heartbeat, just the regular kind of check for cron jobs and things, if that is causing an issue for you. Now, the image upload control module does have a pro enhancement, and that's that it will give you the option, instead of converting to JPEGs, to convert to WebP images, which are smaller and more performant. So that's a nice pro feature. Finally, there's the utilities category. You can force a sender name and email, but you can also set up SMTP service or account for sending your emails. WordPress is notoriously unreliable using the default option for sending emails. So having a plugin or something for your outgoing email is pretty much a requirement. But this module is a good example of a point I wanted to make, and that is that I use Fluent SMTP, and it does the same thing. It gives me the same kind of options here put in for my SMTP service. This has the option to have a debug record written to the WordPress debug log, and you can send a test email, make sure everything's working. But one thing that Fluent SMTP has also is the ability to have email logs. So if there's a problem, you can go back and look at your old emails to see what you missed. And I just wanted to point this out. It's possible that for some of these modules, if you used a dedicated plugin, you might get extra features. Okay, you can enable multiple user roles when a user is created, which is convenient. As admin, you can kind of impersonate another role to see how things look to non-admin users. You can password protect the entire site for everybody but admins. Maintenance mode, you can show a custom maintenance mode page. This is another one that people use plugins for, and it's nice here. You can just zip in and turn it on without having to install an extra plugin. You can redirect 404 to the home page and display a system summary. These are all free modules. Okay, one last pro module, and that is that you have the option for export and import of the settings, which is a pro feature on the higher end packages. I think the solo package doesn't support it, but other two package types do. All right, so that's a look at the pro features of admin and site enhancements. I just have a couple of comments by way of a conclusion. So one concern I had, as I mentioned in the video, was with so many features, is the plugin a resource hog? As I showed, it doesn't use a lot of resources, and it looks to be well optimized. Also, all of the features of ASE are disabled by default, and this means that you've intentionally chosen what you need. So I see this as a plus, and I didn't notice any performance hit. I also mentioned that I and many other people use small dedicated plugins or code snippets for a number of the features that are found in ASE. And that raises the question, is it better to use a code snippet or a dedicated plugin, or is it better to use ASE? And my thinking is that if you're using more than a few of the features of ASE, then it's better to use the ASE plugin. The Pro version of ASE does use Freemius, though it's not intrusive. There are no Freemius screens on your site once you enter your license. So my overall conclusion after testing Admin and Site Enhancements Pro is that it's an exceptional plugin. I recommend to everyone to at least try out the free version. If you go gaga for it like I have and everyone else is, then you'll want to look at the Pro version also. So that's my look at Admin and Site Enhancements Pro. There is a text summary available on the WebTNG website, along with other walkthroughs, reviews, and resources. If you found the video useful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.